All right. Well, coming up next, we do have a NieR Replicant version 1.22, but I know there's more decimals than that. Ending B run by Fel and commentated by Spirialis. But before we get there, I do want to say really quick, we have a $20 anonymous donation that says casual $9,600. No big deal. All right. So hello, Fel.
Oh, hello. I guess I'm live. Hello, my name is Fel, and today I'll be running NieR Replicant version 1.22474487139 ... I am accompanied by the lovely Spirialis.
That's me.
So yeah, this game, the run that I'm doing in particular is Ending B, which is, in a way, similar to the concept of New Game Plus, but not exactly, because the way that the games work is that the game's not really over until you get the final ending, but they do roll credits a few times throughout the game. And the principle that this run is built off of is that technically, if you were to like grind in ending A portion of the game, enough, you could get like a maxed out file with like level 99 and like everything bought out in the shop. And that would allow you to, basically take a maxed out file into the next portion of the game. And so that's what we're going to do, is we're going to be playing from the start of ending B to the end of ending B with like a maxed out OP file.
Right. And so like just as a spoiler warning, like this does immediately have spoilers for like the first half of the game. So if you're interested in playing this game, this isn't the kind of run where you can watch the first few minutes or anything and not really care about anything. You'll probably want to step out if you do want to play this game.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, this spoils probably. I mean, the section I'll be playing is probably about like from hour like 17 to like 23-ish of the casual playthrough. But
Right.
but it does have a lot of spoilers about events that happened before that. So definitely, if you want to play this game, which I would highly recommend, feel free to step out. And I believe there was a costume a bit more. Do we have a winner on that one?
We do. The Kabuki costume is the one that has won.
Okay. That we can do. Where's the wardrobe? There it is. So we're gonna go Kabuki. And the meal magic orbs were met as well.
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, this one's fun. This one's pretty fun. I'm gonna like that one. Yeah. Okay. I will get ready with the countdown, and then I can start talking about some stuff, because the beginning of this run is very boring, as you will soon find out. Okay.
It's certainly something.
I'll give a countdown, and then time can start on go. So it'll be 3, 2, 1, go. And off we are. So this beginning of this run has like a lot of text mashing because story reasons.
Yep, this game likes to do its text-based segments.
Oh, indeed. And I am going to start pressing the text mash buttons.
Dream segments or flashbacks or things like that.
Most of the cutscenes in this we do skip. However, there are some unskippable ones. So I mean, more of a spoiler warning, I guess. Yeah, we love mashing text. Right. Oh, what's that? You thought we were done? No. Not even close.
Section 2 of the text.
Oh, and yeah, section 2 of a few, I think. There's at least 3 in this one, and then there's more after the fight. Yeah. Resetting this category is really good on the wrists, as you can tell.
The combat is also a little rough on the hands.
Yeah, this game is quite, is very, yeah.
That's why
it's
I
hard
had to
in the
stop
hands.
playing it.
It's very hard in the hands.
A lot of mashing the shoulder buttons.
Indeed, which is like weird, because like it's not normally what you mash. You usually mash face buttons.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway. I'm gonna be doing a pop magic drop.
Now I have gameplay.
Yep. Oh, that didn't pop. There we go.
Right, you'll see that Fel is doing much more damage than you would normally be dealing to this boss, just because of like how the category works and how we basically start this run pre-grinded to level 99.
Yeah.
Although one thing to note about the way scaling works in this game is that physical damage scales much better with levels than magic damage does. I think magic damage mostly just scales with the weapons that you use. So when possible, Fel's gonna be doing physical damage and buffing physical damage for enemies that it's reasonable to kill with melee attacks.
Right. Normally, like, magic damage is so much more, but in this run, because we have all the extra physical damage actually does a lot. However, we still use magic in a lot of, much more fights than you would think. But, yeah. Anyway, also, this game has a lot of really pretty music, so if you have ears, you should probably keep them open for the remainder of this run.
Our reunion was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain.
Yeah, so basically the goal of... So this...
Until Devila and Popola had to
this ending basically takes place like more than halfway through the events of the story, but it takes place after like a long time skip, basically. So we are adult NieR, which gives us access to multiple weapon types and different move sets and physical properties that allow us to move in different ways, basically. So as child, you only have access to the light sword, but as adult, we have access to the spear, which is basically faster and stronger for literally everything. So we're going to be using
most of the movement is going to be spear-based when possible.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to be using the Phoenix Spear, which is the strongest spear for the entirety of the run.
Those feelings are pointless.
Because it has really good physical damage coupled with good magic scaling, so it's the obvious choice.
Right. And the best ground-based movement and the best aerial movement.
Yeah, so it's pretty solid, you could say.
Pretty good at everything.
Yeah, and also this long section that I'm not influencing at all is the bathroom break in ending A, which is like 2.5 hours in.
When this is the middle of the run, yeah, this is the bathroom break cutscene.
Yeah.
Or text.
Indeed. But yeah, as this is the second half of the game, we're going to be accomplishing what you do in the post-time skip, which is you have to go across all the areas of the game and collect 5 shards, and that allows us entrance into the final dungeon. And so each adventure that we, partake is going to contribute towards getting the shards. Yeah, so as you can tell, resetting this category is like a lot of fun because you have to go through all of this every time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how many.
This is new to ending B, right? This isn't an ending A.
Correct. Yeah, this is completely new. Also, I'm glad we got to see Emil in the salmon outfit. He looks great.
Yeah, big fan of the Emil costume.
Yeah. Also worth noting, I'm playing this game on incredibly low graphical settings. This game actually looks very pretty, but my computer is not very good, so I have to. Yeah. Long story short.
It really does matter in this game.
Yes, indeed. It really does.
There's a lot of things that just won't work the way you want them to on like 50 frames per second, because the game usually runs at 60.
The game seems to be running at a pretty stable amount so far, which is pretty good. Oh, I'm not going the right direction. I knew I was going to do this.
You gotta pay attention to that mini-map.
Yeah. Yeah, now to the library. Very easy to miss Devila. Something cool about that is that, like, the song that's playing in the background right now, Song of the Ancients, if you walk near Devila, when she's at the water fountain or in the pub, the vocals start to come in because she's, like, singing the song. That's pretty cool touch. Anyway, speaking of tech, I just did something called a guard lift. We are going to be using guard lifts everywhere. It is the best way to gain height quickly. And
it's not intended for you to be able to do that off the ground, I think. I think it's supposed to be like a rising attack from the ground, but there's a very specific set of inputs you can do.
Very, very tight and very jank.
Right. I don't think anyone knows what the frame windows are, but it definitely took both of us a very long time to get a feel for that trick.
Speaking of which, I'm going to do another one right here.
And I don't think anyone is 100% consistent at guard lifts.
No, yeah. They're very unintuitive tech. Anyway, this guy's got a red bag, and he's going to take us to the Lost Shrine, where we're going to play the most fun room in the game for the first time this run. I think we play it like 2 times total.
Ironically fun.
Yeah, it is.
Not sarcasm.
Yeah, like it is actually like a blast to optimize. I'm going to be doing an altered version of one of the skips, but the rest of them should be fine. Because again, my game doesn't run too well. Also, Ending B introduces these cutscenes where you can essentially see the story from the side of the enemy, which prevents, I mean, you gotta play the game to experience it, but like the way it's done is actually really, really good. It's not just like, oh, the enemies are people too. Like, well, I mean, it is that, but it's also, it's more than that. That's putting it lightly.
Yeah, it's definitely well executed.
Yeah.
One interesting thing is that like all the enemies have like fairy tale inspired names, and so I think the ones in this area are
Hansel and Gretel.
Hansel and Gretel, yeah.
We killed Hansel in the first act of the game, though, so it's just Gretel.
Right, so
Gretel's not very happy, yeah. She's having a hard time, honestly, and we're gonna go murder her to put her out of her misery. Like a good friend. Yeah, as you can see, like, I'm using guard lifts to get... I'm hitting all these guard lifts, it's awesome, actually.
Right. And the inputs for that are what? You need to jump, potentially while moving forward, then go completely neutral on the control stick.
Yep.
Tap, guard, release it, and then press attack.
That is correct, but like the timing that you have to press the heavy attack after the guard is like very weirdly specific. Like you can't like buffer the input, otherwise it doesn't work. Like you have to wait a certain amount of time and then
it all has to be very fast, but I think it also can't be too fast. And yeah, the timing windows are very small.
It is very you get a feel for it. Also, here's Tyrion. We'll hear Tyrion. Oh, hello enemy. We'll hear Tyrion chime in a little bit. He also doesn't show up until Ending B. Okay, here's the first of the 3 Lost Shrine skips.
Right, this is the room that we're talking about. That's a lot of fun.
I actually failed that. It's okay though.
With speedrun skips, at least, because if you're not doing any of these skips, there's just a whole lot of like block sliding puzzles, and it takes like multiple minutes to complete this room.
Go. Don't worry about this. We'll talk more about that later.
So even if no messes yet.
Yes, because I just passed all the really exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Lost Shrine. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. We have a $5 donation from Chuckles W73. It says Bergie. And a $7 and a $27 donation from Coral. It says, I enjoyed my stay.
Me too. Yeah, that as Trails was saying, that like dungeon is normally like a lot of opening and closing doors and clearing out enemies and then moving on to the next room and solving like block puzzles, but we can skip all of those. And Spirialis and I were like,
From now on,
we were a big part of like making all those skips possible, which was fun. A lot of the skips that or like at least the biggest skip in this run. I guess a lot of the skips I found aren't exactly in this run, but like the biggest skip towards the end of the run that I did find is, speaking of failing guard lifts, oh boy.
It's really nice of you, but you still don't have to stay out here.
There we go. Oh, I probably don't need a magic drop for this.
Yeah, guard lifts really are not easy.
Oh, there goes the Emil heads. So yeah, these are normally like red magical balls, but now they are not. And here's
the name of the floating skeleton character for those who don't know.
He is the best boy.
Yeah, his character is basically just like an innocent child, despite the fact that he just looks like a scary magical floating skeleton.
This fight we have to lure the shades into the light so that Gretel will put down her shield and we can go attack her. There we go. because we are murdering the people that she cares about.
Right, she's found new purpose in life in protecting these little dudes that she considers family now.
Oh no, really bad RNG, by the way. This attack is incredibly slow.
Right. This is a reset point for people
Yes.
grinding this run.
Yes, people will go through all of everything in the first act and then literally reset if they get that attack. Yeah, because you can pretty much instantaneously kill her if she doesn't do that. Yeah, as you can see, I am shooting the Dark Blast, which is like the, magical gun that I got going on.
Right, and the way that spell works is that normally, I think
Nice,
what the game
kinda.
expects you to do is hold the button down and it has a continuous barrage of these bullets. But the thing is, the first bullet in the barrage is significantly stronger than the rest. So you have much higher DPS if you just spam the button and repeatedly get that stronger first bullet.
Right, every
Instead of-
bullet that comes out is me specifically pressing the right trigger. That is
Right.
not me holding that button down.
Right,
Which is-
in a run of this game where you're not level 99, that is where most of your damage comes from.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Love the samurai or the Kabuki outfits. It's actually great. And there's our first stone fragment, our first shard. So now now that we've killed an innocent person who is just protecting the people they love, it's time to continue on with our quest of doing the same to other groups of people.
We're on a mission.
Indeed
Need
we
those
are.
keys.
Oh gosh, I kind of forget. I think I go straight to Seafront here. Or, sorry, the junk heap.
The main character does not understand anything that these bosses are saying, and so
Right.
does not consider them to be people.
Yes, they're just monsters.
Just let me know the next opportunity I can jump in.
Right now, perfect, because we're gonna get into stuff soon, but right now is great.
Awesome. I just want to give a quick update on the bid war for the Amori character name. Right now, Brad is still winning at
Huge.
$70. But Archie is not too far behind at $33. So if you want to make Archie the correct character name, I don't know why I said correct there, but if you want Archie to be the name, you got to donate to Archie. If you want Brad to be the name, keep donating to Brad because that's a very funny name to me.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah. Good job hitting those guard lifts for that aerial-based movement, because
Thank you.
if you miss those guard lifts, there's a good chance that you just fall to the ground and have to do some much slower strats to get back up.
Indeed, yeah. So a lot of this game is, this game is not nearly as broken as Automata, which is very broken. But this game does have a couple of really cool skips. But it's a lot of just like small optimizations like that. Like I can get onto the higher part of the bridge, which skips climbing like multiple ladders, which is like really slow. And so that's like a lot of what this run is.
Right.
Also, this
I think
quest.
there's even-
Sorry, go
Is
ahead.
a faster version of that bridge
There is.
movement, but it's like
It is-
absurdly difficult.
It is very silly, to say the least. For this quest, we are going to we're supposed to go into the junk heap, what the place is called, and mine some rare material from like a robot mini boss type character. But because we're on a New Game Plus file, essentially, we already have that equipment, so we're just gonna walk into the junk heap, and it's gonna tell us we have it, and we can go away. Also, this guy, like, this is awesome. He gives me a sword. He's like, yeah, I found something you might like. And he gives you a sword, and it's broken in half. And then we have to give it back to him and give him time to repair it. So that is awesome.
You even have a conversation between yourself and the book, and it's just like, don't we already have this weapon? It's like,
Yeah.
quiet, these things happen the second time around.
Yeah. There's a lot of lines like that, just like littered throughout the game. Anyway, yeah, it says you already have the, what is it, titanium alloy or something? Memory alloy, actually.
Yeah, I think you need
Which-
both, but yeah.
Which is, oh my god, an awful item to grind, by the way.
Right, because it's required for the story quest, but you also need to just get it as random drops for upgrading equipment, and it's pretty rare, and there's a long walk involved each time you want to get a chance to do it.
Yep. Yeah, it's a rare drop from an enemy deep into a dungeon, basically. That does not respawn until you exit the dungeon. You have to run all the way out. There's no fast travel. There's actually even like a line. There's a whole conversation about fast travel. That's really funny. And I don't want to spoil it because it's really funny. So play this game and experience that. Alright, so now it's going to give us an option, and I need to make sure to go speak with Coppola, otherwise I'm in trouble.
Right. So there's basically like 5 different regions that each have a key. We didn't get the one here yet, because this quest line, I guess, is split into 2 halves, and so we just did the first one. So we'll be back to the junkie later.
Yeah, we actually need to do an entire segment before the sword is ready, and he's going to send us a letter in the mail and tell us to come back. And we're going to do the longest one and most furthest away, so that we can come back to this place late. Also, I forgot to introduce our, like, best boy. Oh, well, I'm not the second best boy of the run. Sorry. His name is Bartholomew, and he is the boar that we ride around all of these open fields.
And the boar can drift.
Yes,
which
yes.
is hilarious.
He can, and it's really funny.
It's usually not like fast or a good idea to actually do it, unfortunately, but it is hilarious.
In fact, it's actually quite slow, which is unlucky.
I have a couple quick donations if you have time.
Go for it.
I have a $5 donation from Pick that says Brad.
Nice.
And I have an anonymous $80 donation that says Brad.
Huge. Yeah, so earlier, the red bag man who manned the ferry that took us to the Lost Shrine is missing, and so we are going to check out, see what's up with him. Because he's our friend that has an interesting marriage, is how I describe that. Yes, as Vice is referencing right now, him and his wife argue a lot. And the last time that one of them went missing, it was just because there was like a huge misunderstanding. So we're assuming that the same thing's happening now as we go to check out this guy's disappearance and see what's going on.
Right, and normally there would be a ferry run by the red bag man taking us between towns, but since he's missing for this quest line, we just can't use that right now.
Yeah, which is, that is this game's form of fast travel. So I mean, it does exist to an extent, but you cannot like travel out of like dungeons or anything like that. Like,
yeah, there's just like 4 specific spots that you can fast travel between.
Yeah. And also worth mentioning, this section that we're going to right now does not give us a shard, and is actually a completely new addition to this version of the game. It was not in the original Replicant, it was just in the remaster, and it's really cool. I really like this section, although it's a bit slow to speedrun, and the boss is really tanky. It's neat. It's a good section.
Yeah,
there's
like,
also
it's kind of like cut content from the original version because there is like concept art of this ship, but it was just never put into the game until this version came out recently.
And there's one particular cutscene that's unskippable, and it's really funny. I'll just say that much.
Really like that zoom into the ship.
Yeah, very helpful. All right, so we need to talk to the red bag wife. She's got a red bag, as you can see by her red bag. And then we need to ask around to see if anyone's seen anything of him.
Shall we begin by asking around at the tavern like before?
Hey, I think. Thanks.
And more text mashing, because this is a very story-heavy game, as we've kind of alluded to.
It's happened a few times now, but I really like all the camera angles and such that you get. Like, you've got these side-scrolling sections, there's some top-down sections.
Yeah.
And then just a bunch of regular full 3D sections.
Yeah. Automata is, like, almost better, I think better about that. Like, It's just really cool
Yeah.
that the way that the game abuses or utilizes perspective in order to create like different styles of gameplay. And this game is no stranger to it, as we're about to see. We will not get to see the Resident Evil mansion, unfortunately. But yeah, there is an entire section of this game that plays exactly like the first Resident Evil game. And it is an experience and a half, to say the least.
We also don't get the text-based adventure segment, just some visual novel sections.
Yeah, right. This game also has text-based adventure segments.
I guess it's not a visual novel if there's no visuals in those sections, but
yeah, pretty cool. Those sections are some of my favorites, actually.
Such buffoonery does little more than wear this old tome out.
So we're being told to go back to the village to ask the Red Bag Man's brother, who is a guard of the village that I come from, NieR comes from, I suppose. The story that we're seeing right now is a little bit hard to explain, but long story short, this girl is living in the abandoned ship, and this postman, who's not the Red Bag Man, is helping feed her and take care of her.
despite the fact that they don't have names, both the Postman and Red Bag Man are pretty significant characters.
Yes, they are.
In the story of this game.
I will sometimes forget Bartholomew. I'm gonna show some board drifting here just because it's really funny. So I can like. Oh, wait, what button is it? Did I forget how this works?
I could not tell you off the top of my head.
Well, I can't remember, so we're not gonna do it. I tried the button I thought it was. It's been a while. It's much faster to not drift everywhere, so.
It's like R1 or R2? I don't...
I pressed R2, and that's just the dash.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe it's brake. Who knows? It's really funny that the board can drift. Anyway, so we talked to the guy's brother, and he's like, yeah, I haven't seen the lad. Anyway, Bartholomew's going. And we're about to take him for another ride.
I just googled it. It says if you wish to drift, press and hold either the L2 or the R2 button.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, you can drift the board, and it's awesome.
Love to see it. I'm on a bit of stream delay, but
there's also a few lines in this game that are really interesting. Mostly due to localization, like not issues, just like choices, I guess. And we heard one line that's not super weird, but I would like to draw a note to it because there are going to be a couple ones that are going to get weirder. Because the book asked a question if we'd ever penned a missive, and I didn't even know what that meant when I was playing this game. I had to look up what that meant. So that's kind of awesome. But it gets weirder. Don't worry. I think we're one cutscene away from the singing. You're gonna have to hear the Louise, the little girl, sing. And it's gonna sound like singing does, like everybody sings, because that's what singing sounds like, as you'll see.
Like human singing.
Yeah, like human singing is exactly what I would describe that as, actually, as a matter of fact. Yeah, where did that enormous ship even come from? I'm going the wrong direction. I gotta go to the post office. This is an easy step to forget, because it, like, this is the only time you really come here during this run. I gotta mash A at the end of that, so I don't accidentally talk to him again, because B is the interact button, so the mashing gets a little slower towards the end of the text boxes. Oh, I think this is the singing cutscene.
I was gonna ask if I could hop in, but I don't want to interrupt the singing.
Yeah, after singing, we can. There we go. This is singing, by the way.
Fun fact: the little treasure chest in the corner. with a spotlight is never openable.
Whoa, you're...
Yep. I thought it was gonna be some kind of awesome secret, but you never. The one time you get into this room in the game is a cutscene, and you never can come back. They just tease that treasure chest. There's even a quest in the game later that is called like treasure map, and it doesn't take you there. It's very unfortunate.
It's such a strange choice to give that chest a spotlight.
Yeah, it's definitely very
It's there to
interesting.
mess with players.
That sure was singing.
Indeed. Anyway, yeah, you can go ahead. The next section's pretty slow paced, so we have time.
All right. We have a $10 donation from Konomi that says, I love Archie.
True.
And with that donation, we have crossed the 9,707. Well, I guess the actual milestone is 9,700s, but we have reached $9,707, which means we are less than $300 away from our goal of $10,000. Let's
Wow.
do it, gamers.
Figure out some way to get
That is
inside.
I also
awesome.
love Archie.
Me too. Yeah, also, by the way, if that unskippable zoom wasn't enough, they also give you another zoom in on the exact same spot in that cutscene, but you can skip that one halfway through.
Maybe they were really worried that people would see this thing that obviously looks like it's blocked off with
So you...
planks.
Yeah. Also, there's not blood at
I
her
don't know.
feet, which the postman mistakenly thinks that she's on her period and goes to get help. Little does he know, she's just been eating people and has actually not had any periods at all. Which, you know, that'll happen, I guess.
Understandable mistake.
Yeah.
You should...
Anyway, side-scrolling
$20.
This place
horror
is
mystery
pretty
puzzle section.
I'm having a hard time imagining any townsfolk hanging around here.
It's locked.
Well, as we were...
I need to pick up this lantern now. I did not mean to interact with the door twice, but I'm going to say it's RNG minute for the upcoming boss. Whoa, who's that ghost-looking girl that just went into this room that we're going to follow?
Wait,
There is technically movement tech in this section that is faster than just walking, but it is extremely inconsistent and saves fractions of a second every time, so it's just not worth doing.
what is with this shit?
Very wacky looking tech.
There may be clues
Yes,
When it works.
it is very strange. I would try it, but I'm not sure I could actually get it. So,
It looks...
yeah, there are a lot of items and stuff you're supposed to inspect in this section, and like a lot of different paths you can take, or like rooms to explore, but there's not a whole lot you actually need to do here if you know what you're doing.
Yeah,
So I'll be going
fortunately a lot of it's skippable.
Yeah, I'll be going through it pretty quickly.
The missing child.
Chat's going a little crazy because we have reached a when you see it moment on
Let's
the
go.
donation.
Huge.
Hang on.
We have a $20 donation from Squeal. It says, "What a funny little number that donation tracker is," but I can think of a funnier one. 10,000. Let's get there, lads.
Let's get there.
There's a brief...
The hidden room.
The hidden room. How delightful.
I love the way he says that line. The voice acting for this game is very good. Especially Vice, who's the book that's following me. I don't know if we've fully introduced that concept, but this book that is hovering around me is the secondary main character. It's me and him.
Right, the book talks. I guess
Yeah.
it might not be obvious.
Right. And he's great.
Would it not be wise to
Oh.
explore the rooms on the floor above us?
There we
I
go.
think people like data mined a bunch of files that suggested that there was originally supposed to be like a much more involved puzzle in the ship that I guess ended up being cut.
Yeah. Whoa, it's dark down here. I wonder if we can find that lantern that we were using earlier. Oh look, I just walked to the left and found it. Let's light it and see what we're looking at. Oh no! Whoa, whoa, whoa! This is a... It's not supposed to be nearly this bright. This is a interesting bug.
I was wondering about... Yeah, I thought the last cutscene with Luis also had this kind of lighting, and I was...
well, we
I
get to
didn't
see...
remember it.
Yes, I agree. We get to see the graphic detail a little bit more graphically, but wow, that is... I've never encountered this before. That is awesome. Yeah, it's supposed to be a lot more darker and creepier. In fact, the entire boat is not supposed to be illuminated like this. I noticed that earlier, but I didn't question it. But now I'm questioning it. Yeah, like, it is supposed to be very dark in here. Yeah, like, I just turned off my lantern. But, like, yeah. That is awesome.
Not great. Can't you tell?
I can tell.
It's really strange.
Yeah, I've never encountered this. Don't know what...
Clock.
No, yeah, it's probably the nice clock.
Yeah.
Anyway, here, we finally reached the room with the giant spotlight on the chest, and, yeah. And then everyone's gonna run in, and the postman's gonna run in, and kind of is gonna be like, get away from her! It's gonna be awesome. Anyway, now he's asking for advice about how to care for a young woman's period.
Stay the hell away from her.
And, little does he know that we got bigger problems. So hey, remember that, like, little girl? Oh.
She was just a little girl, right?
Yeah, just a little girl. I love the song for this boss fight coming up. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, this entire sequence is new to this game, like we mentioned, and this is a new song to this version of the game.
Yeah.
And it's a good one.
Why isn't
And then I need to... Oh, I want to go on Dark Wall.
being hurt by the sun?
That is not precisely the case.
Oh, that's not correct.
By the sunlight.
And this boss is, like, incredibly tanky for ending A.
Light is able to inflict.
Yeah, so I'm going to use an ability called Dark Wall,
Something is coming. Get out of the way at once.
which did not actually have any effect there at all. So I'm going to charge it up again.
This thing actually thinks it's a person.
I messed it up again, but that's okay.
Right, Dark Wall is one of the most broken things in the game. Just... Oh, I guess you didn't fully charge it there.
Yeah.
It just gives us a barrier that blocks, like, all projectiles and therefore lets us
She's doing it
ignore
again.
most of what the boss does and just wail on them in the meantime. Something this game does sometimes is just give enemies, like, absurd amounts of defense, but still let you damage them while characters are doing their dialogue, and after a certain amount of time has passed and they're done talking, then the game starts letting you do real damage to them.
Yeah. Use magic damage to do a lot of the damage to these tentacles.
And kind of
Sir.
a funny thing as a result of that is that if you play this game with Japanese voices, it turns out that spoken Japanese is actually significantly slower than spoken English.
Yes.
And so some bosses will just take like 15-20 seconds longer with Japanese voices than they do with English voices.
Alright, we almost got there. Yeah, this boss is the tankiest one by a long shot. Yeah, and as you can see, like, after the dialogue happened, the damage I was doing to the boss, like, multiplied by, like, a lot. Like, a lot.
And it just explodes.
Yeah. And now this section, although it may seem like it matters at all, it is an auto-scroller.
Aren't gonna do shit against this thing.
So I'm just gonna sit in my happy little corner over here.
That shade's got some kind of hard on for it. We should take
I might actually need to heal, depending on things, but...
I'm not in the business of using my blades on people.
Emil will heal you if you get low, right? You'll be fine.
Anyway, yeah, there's this phase where Luis launches. Also, this is the little girl, by the way, if that wasn't clear. That's Luis.
Yep. Looks the same to me.
Yeah. Anyway, so I could just sit here and guard, and actually, Kaina is doing work. Kaina and Emilio are doing work on this boss actually, but yeah, none of it really matters.
Sing songs until we get murdered.
Damn it.
Can I hop in with a quick donation then?
Go for
Absolutely.
it,
Great. We have a $10 donation from Chuckles W73. It says, I don't get the 727 meme, so I'll be the one to break it. Thanks for the $10. I guess now we have to get to $10,000.
yeah. That's true. Guess we do. Yeah. So we just get to chill here, guarding in a corner and listen to music, while Luis kind of shoots her shot, and she's gonna do like a superpowered attack pretty soon, and we are going to get hit by it.
My word, if this continues.
Hey, over here.
Long story to this.
Can it withstand such an onslaught?
Anyway, it's gonna start doing an attack.
I'm really scared.
And like a little like magic circle is gonna pop up, and normally, and I'll do it. Normally when this happens, you have to break the magic circle, and it triggers something. But on this ending, you cannot break this magic circle. That does change later, but this attack is guaranteed to go off in ending B.
Right, so a lot of things change between ending A and ending B, but I think this is one of the few things that also changes between ending B and later endings.
I think we're in trouble.
What the hell are you doing? Stop them all!
There's a handful of things like this, but
Yeah.
Damn it.
this is definitely the biggest one, I'd
This
say,
is, yeah,
aside
most
from
certainly
like
the
the
biggest one.
actual ending.
Stopped.
Anyway, yeah, the postman's doing work, because you can see this is the technique that does the most damage on this boss, and I should have been adopting it all along. And
We can never be together. You disgust me.
by Luis. All she wanted to do was sing. And we had to go and ruin her dream. Okay, so we're coming up on another segment of the game. Oh, also, yeah, Red Bagman was among the dead in that extraordinarily bright room. And we are breaking the news to his wife, who is aptly named Red Bag Woman.
Well, we have the choice to tell her the truth or not, but
Right, and I do because it's less inputs. I mean, she cries either way, because either you tell her that he's dead or that he has left her. So it's really just a happy ending either way.
NieR likes things like that.
Oh, Yoko Tara, you sick bastard.
There's a lot of side quest lines that just
They
get
hit.
worse than they started.
Yeah, they hit pretty hard. Yeah, you find a character in a pretty rough spot, and you go to help them out to, save them, or from various different ways. And then you come back and, yeah, like as Friala said, it's just you end up sadder than you started, you set out. And it's just like, dang, that's awesome. Oh, I wanted that. I needed that. So right now I'm going to do something we call drown warping. The main character cannot swim. And that is a big running joke throughout the game, and it's really funny. And there's like an absurd amount of unique lines between Vice and NieR that discuss the fact that he cannot swim.
Yeah, Vice. I'm good.
Alright, I'll go back to the library to check on our good friend Popola.
Be more careful next time.
Who I thought her name was Popola for the entirety of NieR Automata, even though they speak her name like multiple times. It took me a while to get used to
There are
that.
some connections between this game in Automata.
Oh yes, yes there are. Yeah, if you played Automata, not this game, which is I'm sure like a decent amount of people. Yeah, you will recognize that character, Popola and Devola. They are both in Automata as well.
And Emil.
And yes, Emil also as well. That's true. He is in a required cutscene of the game, so you cannot miss him. I am absolutely not going to forget the mailbox. This is an unbelievably, like, we've basically, long story short, we've been invited to a wedding. And if you miss the invitation, even if you show up to the wedding, you gotta go all the way back and accept that invitation. So.
Yep. It will not happen.
Yeah.
Unless you check your mail.
Just like real life, weddings don't happen unless you check your mail.
Mm-hmm.
So, this is the only... Well, there is a boar. I was gonna say, this is the only... Why is everything so bright? This is not correct. Anyway.
What's happening?
Like, it just looked really, really bright. I don't think it was supposed to be that bright.
Yeah, I was wondering about this one, too. Can you not take the boat to fast travel?
No. I don't know why.
Huh.
I don't know why, but I know that you can't.
Okay. Guess I don't really remember.
Anyway, there are some wolves in the desert. And, we can certainly guess what they've been eating. You just listen to this dialogue.
Live in forests, yes. Deserts would seem to hold little sustenance for them.
Well, we can certainly guess what they've been eating.
Yeah, so that's like another like extremely strange localization thing where like you're just like, did he just make a joke about like the wolves eating the people of Facade? And you're like, that doesn't seem very in character for NieR. But that is
yeah, it's incredibly unclear what he's actually talking about there. At least I think so. Both of us think so.
Yeah, it's very strange. That is my favorite one.
Yeah, there's definitely a few lines like that though, where it's just like, what are they trying to say?
Yeah, so we can fast travel across the village. There's a lot of stuff you have to do in order to gain the right to do that, though. Oh, wrong. There we go. So now I'm entering the king's mansion. So the king, we saved him when he was a kid, and now he is not a kid, and he's getting married. But to who? A surprise to all of us, as it turns out. Whoa, it's Vera! She's a character that's really awesome, but you don't get to learn that in this run because we already did that in Ending A.
Very cool character with a very cool escort sequence.
Indeed, yes, you have to walk around with her for a very long time, and it's awesome. It's great. And then you have to walk her through a sandstorm, but I found a glitch to skip that, which is also awesome.
But if you don't skip it, it takes... I think we timed it to be something like 6 minutes.
Yes, yeah, it is something like that. Yeah, it's around 6 minutes of escorting her through the desert, like stopping to fight off wolves every few seconds. And it's really cool, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is when we learned that Emil is actually gay. Because NieR makes a comment about him being jealous of the king, and he's like, "Oh no, that's not actually it. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of Vera getting married to the king." So there's that. That's a detail in this game.
Can I hop in for a second on that?
Go for it.
Great. We have a $63 anonymous donation that says Brad. Also 9,800 what? Yeah, we actually have hit $9,800.
Wow.
Very cool.
That is very cool.
And a $20 donation from Amber Loves Archie, and I can't believe you're making me read this, but it says A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You can't even read the alphabet without singing, right? Like A, B,
no,
C,
you
D,
can't.
E, F, G,
I certainly
H, I,
can't.
J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, I did it.
Let's go. So yeah,
we're force someone to sing on stream.
So we are the wedding went sour. We got invaded by the evil wolves. One of them, who is the leader of which, he was actually a monster. And they say he's not allergic. Jesus. They say he's immune to magic, but like he's actually not immune to magic. So I don't really know why they say that. But anyway, the bride dies. There she is, dead on the ground, which is awesome. So also, this is the one point in the game where you're given a choice that doesn't matter at all. If you select the wrong option in any of those dialogues that ask where to go next, you are like super locked into that quest, except for right here, because you can choose whatever and then just go back into the mansion and finish the quest for the wedding.
Yeah.
Right, we're still on our second key fragment, by the way.
Yes. This is the longest one because they added the Luis segment and they make you go through that in order to get the facade, which is the name of the city that we're in.
I think it was already the longest one, and they just added this entire very long segment to the front of it, so
yeah.
I think it's like comparable in length to all the other key fragments combined.
Yeah, but in reality, this segment, I mean, I'm joking about it because I played this like dozens of times, but like this is a very, very sad part of the story. Because Fury was a very good friend. Fury was a very good friend of ours. But we're gonna go kill this guy, who also has a sob story. Noticing a pattern. Yeah, his is probably the saddest of all of the major boss enemies too. Yeah, this is another section where we're actually going to use magic damage primarily for the first phase of this, and then we're gonna one-shot him when we can actually damage him. Okay, quick RNG check real quick. Fuck. Unfortunate.
That was very funny, thank you.
Okay.
Oh, and continuing, like we mentioned that the first boss was based on like Hansel and Gretel. This boss is named Rock after is it Arabian Nights? Is that right?
I actually don't know.
Something Middle Eastern, right?
Yeah.
And Luis is, I think, based on something from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, that's the only thing we've been able to figure out. So the auto target in this, so we need to kill all the wolf minions before Rock comes down for us, but the auto target really loves to target us on Rock. Which is really fun. But yeah, also, as you noticed, I'm not supposed to get up and damage him before his phase, but if you do get up to his ledge and hit him, you can lower him down to like a third of his HP. I mean, you can lower the bar all the way, but it resets to a third when it's his phase.
Which matters more in other endings.
Right, because you one-shot him no matter what in this ending.
Right. But in the other endings, it is very helpful to just be able to deal most with his health and damage while he's not jumping around trying to dodge all your attacks on the ground.
And the RNG check, by the way, at the beginning of that fight is he can move to okay, letter, thank you. He can move to one of 3 ledges, and 2 of the ledges you can reach without the infinite height glitch that I did, and that is the only one that you cannot. So I had to do that.
Look, plenty of time to talk about the infinite height glitch later.
I don't remember if I need to go to the library first, so I'm actually just gonna go here. Because I think I need to check the mailbox. Yes, it does look like I did.
Or which one are you doing next?
It's BP. Yeah, okay.
Keep 2. Yeah, you definitely do need to go.
I remembered correctly. You do need to get the mailbox.
Right.
This is another big deal. Don't forget the mailbox.
Right. So we need to check the mailbox twice in this run, and we didn't forget either time.
Yeah, which is huge, because you can lose like 3 or 4 minutes if you do.
It's an easy thing to forget. I think we've both done it.
Yeah. Also, you can fast travel to a part in the Northern Plains, but it's actually faster to not do that and just run over to Bartholomew over here. Anyway, so we're gonna get to see the Jug Heap, or oh god, I didn't think I could actually collide with that, I'm gonna be honest with you. That was awesome. Or Robot Mountain, as it's called in the Japanese version, I guess. Interesting localization of Junk Heap, or Robot Mountain becoming Junk Heap. But here we
There's
are.
gonna be a new skip in Junk Heap that.
Yes, there is.
Right.
Yeah, this is
That
this
was
is great.
found after I stopped playing this game, so
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
excited to watch you do that.
It's really cool. So I've done a little bit of the infinite height glitches, but I can talk about that a little bit right now, before I do it, because we're gonna be getting very out of bounds. And this run is not super broken like Automata is, but we have a couple things that are pretty freaking broken, and this will be one of them. Basically, the game implements like some kind of failsafe for doing this with the weapon quick swap menu. However, basically, long story short, doing a heavy attack with any weapon gains height. And if we were to pause the game, swap weapons in the middle,
specifically a plunging attack with a heavy, like raise you up slightly and then does a ground slam.
Right. Yeah, heavy from midair. Anyway, I'm gonna do the glitch so you can explain the rest of it if you wish.
Okay, so there's a weapon quick swap menu. That one is like properly de-cheesed, I guess, so it doesn't let you do anything weird and only lets you. I think when you swap weapons that way, it waits for you to finish whatever you're doing and then swaps weapons back when you're like in your idle state, I guess. However, if you pause, go to your pause menu is actually like Vice, and there's actually certain things that you can only do, including this one, when you have Vice, because there's certain parts of the story where you don't, like the start of the game. But you can go into that menu and swap weapons there, and that will take effect instantly and actually cancel certain things. So what Fel is doing the start of this heavy attack, like heavy plunging attack animation where you rise up in the air, switch weapons to a sword, and then switch back to the spear, and that will instantly cancel that plunging attack state and let you do another plunging attack to gain just a little bit more height. And you can do that repeatedly, and I think everything is bufferable, but it is very easy to mess up and lose all your progress and have to start over. So that's why Fel isn't speaking while doing this, because it is something a little bit stressful to try and do.
Okay, that was close. I didn't have hand equipped. That was close. I didn't even know if I could actually do that and still keep this up. But anyway, we've reached out of bounds. This is fine.
Okay.
Yeah. You might need to remind me to equip wall after this.
After this, okay. In most of this dungeon, there are ceilings, and ceilings do prevent you from doing any of this kind of shenanigans, but in the elevator shafts there are not, so we can just go high enough that there's no collision on the walls and get out of bounds.
Yeah, this game is oddly good about ceilings, and for whatever reason they just don't have them in the elevator shaft. Anyway, so you see that, like, there's like a triangle that I'm going towards on the minimap. That's the loading zone. There we go, reached it.
So the idea here is that you only void out if you fall for a certain amount of time without stopping, but those dark hand attacks kind of interrupt that and reset it. And so Fel just made his way all the way over to a loading zone that extends infinitely vertically, and so despite being far, far below the map, we could still use that loading zone to skip a lot of
A memory alloy, what the heck?
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, I got a memory alloy drop.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms in this dungeon where, just like this one here, where there's a lot of enemies slowly spawning that you need to kill one by one, plus a minecart segment that's just a fairly long auto-scroller. And so that glitch, or that infinite height into infinite falling thing, skipped quite a bit of this dungeon.
Yeah, and it also looks really cool. It's one of the flashier ones skips we have in this game, because you're literally just flying in the void for like a minute.
it's actually really cool that a lot of the things that people complain about have skips, like the Thera walking incredibly slowly across the desert for multiple minutes escort mission thing. You can skip the minecart segments where you just stand in the minecart waiting for it to slowly reach its destination. You can also skip.
There are also a couple of particularly, I mean, tedious is the word I'd use when you get to the later endings, bosses in the final dungeon, and that is kind of my magnum opus for this game. I discovered a glitch to skip almost the entirety of the final dungeon.
Right, and that, I think, is the biggest skip of all of them. And
it saves upwards of 10 minutes.
It's pretty cool. You'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one does take a long time because there's a lot of dialogue in that section of the game, and so it's one of those things like what we were mentioning before, where we just have to wait for people to stop talking before we can actually kill bosses and move on.
Right, yeah, so it's even slower than it like even seems, and so skipping them is like a huge deal.
Right.
Can I read a couple donations here?
Yes, just boss fights are good.
Cool. I think we're trying to get a $5 hype train going, so I have a $5 donation from Frozen Flygon that says 555555555555555. I'm not gonna read all the rest. I'm sorry. That's a lot. Another $5 donation from Chuckles W73. It says $5 at 5555.
Aim for the legs. Knock it down.
Okay. No.
And there is like an interesting like death strat for this boss. I assume that it's basically impossible in this run in particular.
Oh yeah. You cannot do that. And, well, it doesn't save time. You could if you tried hard enough. However, anyway, what I just did, by the way, is getting him down to 0 health right there, skips the entirety of the second phase and triggers this like error sequence. Which is possible without level 99, but it's a lot easier with it.
Right, and this falling debris section is what you could theoretically skip if you died right now.
Right.
But, not happening.
And yeah, this donation train is at full force.
Let's go.
If that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I have a $5 donation from Rufon that says, "Name them Archie, you fools." $5 donation from Amber Loves Archie that says 1 + 1 = 2. That's math.
Actually, it equals window, but I'll let it slide this time.
Fair enough. A $5 donation from Akko that says 55555. Oh, thank you for not putting like a million of them. A anonymous $5 donation and a $5 donation from Math Hacker that says, "It has come to my attention that the brain cell has commanded a $5 dono train." And one last $5 donation from Kate Latte, and it's just a little clock emoji. I don't know how to read that. I'm sorry.
Nice clock.
Truly.
I almost want to explain the lore, but I won't. I'll leave it up to the imagination. Anyway, the reason why we did Junk Heap first earlier is so that we could do it, like the second part of it now, which leads us to, or it leaves us very close. Like we're in the same hub, the Northern Plains, as where the next shard is, and so we're gonna go over to the Forest of Myth and do our reading comprehension quiz. Oh, wow, I've never landed on that. What the heck? It's not letting me off the ladder. There we go. That was awesome.
Got these reading sections, and this one actually checks to make sure you read it. Or at
Yes,
least
so definitely pay attention because sometimes I miss it. Not intentionally, it's just hard to control mashing.
I always have a hard time catching the first one.
Yes, the first one's the hard one. The second one's not that bad.
Right, for sure.
Anyway, we're going to look for a color. It's going to be either brown, green, or blue, and a number that's either 23, 33, or 63.
Yeah. Truly a nightmare I hope never.
Oh, I'm not talking to the Mr. President over here. There we go. There's a long story behind this area. It's the long story short.
A long story, huh?
Yes. Okay, pay attention. Great, okay. Pay
Okay,
attention.
well, you got it before I even
Green
did
23.
the stream play, so...
Green 23. Yeah. Let's go. First try. Pass our reading comprehension quiz.
Love to see it.
Let's go. And that's a fragment. Yeah, that is the simplest one to get. You just need to answer 2 questions.
Much faster than doing all of the Louise dungeon and all of Facade.
Yeah. So, like, we are also incredibly close to the area where the next one is, but unfortunately the game forces us to go back to the village.
Right.
And talk to Popola one more time before heading out to see Wendy. Was Wendy, like, Peter Pan Wendy? Is that who this is based off of? Yeah.
Peter Pan. Because they're, like, themed based on the region, and Hook was the previous enemy in the
Yes,
same place.
Hook was the boss of the Aerie, right, yes. Bartholomew is a trooper. Look at this guy. So in the first act of the game, sheep are not extinct. Wow, I think I nailed that every time. That's great. That's really hard to narrowly put the board through
It's
those
much
passages.
better than it looks to get through these narrow passageways without bonking with the boar. Bartholomew.
Yeah. Also, fun fact about boars, we're going to be skipping a very large boar boss at the end of the game, and her name is Goose. So do with that information what you will.
Goose from Untitled Goose Game?
Yes, yes. The giant boar in Untitled Goose Game, that's this one.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we have received a message, a letter from the mayor of a very, let's just say, inhospitable village. We're gonna go check it out, see what's going on. I'm not gonna fail any of the jumps or tricks or trigger skips here, at all, right? Yeah. That's correct.
Definitely. I never really learned where all the triggers are in this area, so... Oh, by the way, you told me to remind you about Dark Wall at some point.
I already put it on, but thank you, I appreciate it. I've most certainly forgotten how to do that in the middle of the Devil and Popola fight, at which point it's pretty much too late for it to matter.
Yeah, I have my doubts.
Um...
Aren't you glad to be going back home, Kaine?
So yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, sheep aren't extinct to the first act of the game, so you can, like, go sheep bowling with the boars. But, unfortunately, sheep are now extinct. So, that sucks.
Oh yeah, and the other fairy tale thing is that the little shade that was with the giant robot in the junk heap, is named Khalil, but apparently that's just a weird translation of Cleo from Pinocchio, which is a weird one.
Yeah, definitely a bit out there. Oh, I love the airy music. Okay, let's not fail this. Let's go. I'm gonna try something new, and if it doesn't work, I'm gonna have to do that trick again. Hey, it worked! Okay, awesome. I don't really know what makes that one work, but we got there. Yeah, so that's a pretty large skip, actually. It skips a lot of going through the village and climbing ladders and stuff.
Right, there's a lot of just death position triggers in this area, most of which you're trying to avoid to like not change your respawn position so that you can kind of just warp around later on when you need to go back and forth through the area more easily.
Yeah, so that's the weird movement I'm doing right now.
But that one to just set your spawn point to the top of a ladder is not something that really makes sense, but hey, it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, you saw Fel just avoid a bunch of like respawn triggers around the map, and so it's going to be very quick to go back when
there we go. Immediately triggers the cutscene.
Do that in a second.
Yeah. I don't know how many of these guys I have to kill.
Don't hurt my
Okay, that many, it's apparently. So I'm gonna do the same thing where I avoid the same spawn points on the way back over. Perfect. Oh, okay.
Turns out there's actually quite a bit of back and forth here.
Don't knock me off. That guy can knock you off. It is not fun. I think those are actual people, is what Emil's about to say, and there's another line that doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, this is Wendy. We're gonna shoot some magic at her, and then hit a health threshold, and not be able to shoot any more magic at her for a little bit. Also, yeah, enjoy the Emil heads. They're coming towards me.
We've seen surprisingly few of those so far, but
well, it's
here
fine.
near the end of the game, there's definitely a lot of them.
Actually, I don't think this matters at all, because I haven't... I'm gonna eat a health self.
I sense magic coming from the center of that
I have some more donations if there's a good time.
Yeah, go for it. This boss is largely an auto-scroller.
Great. I have a $5 donation from Spirit Atlas that says 5.
Let's go.
That's me.
Let's see.
$5 donation from Chuckles that says Bergie. And a $10 donation from Math Hacker that says, Yo, Akko, enjoy the pizza. Yes, that $10 will definitely help Akko purchase pizza because it is going to out you.
True. Anyway, so after this, I'm going to once again plummet to my demise over here. Oh, wow. I don't know how I hit that spawn point, but unfortunate.
its weak point is located around the back.
It's okay, we can do a mini skip that makes it a little bit better, but yeah, I was supposed to spawn right back over here. Maybe when I got hit back by the initial like big guy, maybe that hit me back into something.
Maybe
Yeah, it was a bit weird.
Too close to the start. Yeah.
I'll keep it busy.
But you can see now what we would be skipping, or what we did skip the first time, even.
Please, hurry.
Right.
Emil can handle this. We must
Anyway, we're in a dark wall. I could do another skip to get over here a little quicker.
I'm coming.
Right.
Catch my breath.
Yeah. The area is a pretty cool segment in the end, as it turns out, too.
Yeah. Especially with all this movement tech.
Yeah.
Like, when you're here
Nice.
earlier in the game as like as a child and don't have the spear, it's a lot harder to do a lot of the skips because the sword is definitely not as good as the spear for a lot of these tricks, just for aerial movement.
You can get, like, a very, very significantly further, like, horizontally and vertically from spears. Good song coming up soon. A very somber song, but it's good.
Right, and we have more of this.
Right.
Another thing that's introduced in Ending B is just all these text-based segments.
Yeah, these segments are really, really cool, but obviously, like, for its speedrun, it's not... It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it's just text mashing. This actually gives a lot of really cool insight about the lore of another character that called Halua that we don't meet in this ending at all, because she's already dead. And we killed her.
Yep. Yeah, this run starts just after that.
Which is good, because the segment that leads up to that boss fight is really cool, but very dealing with AI RNG heavy. And it's can be quite annoying.
Escort mission where a character can get stuck on enemies, and I mean also like makes you reset if you leave too far behind, and it does have some really cool skips, but the fact that it's an escort mission does cause some problems.
Mm-hmm. Which doesn't really matter when you're going through it and clearing out all the enemies, but like when you're trying to rush through, like you can very easily... Ah, there it is. Oh, right. Hey, wait, you know what? I said this was going to happen, and it did. Because that is the one time that crashing the board doesn't matter. Because it triggers this cutscene anyway. Which is so good.
Nice.
So, yeah. Totally intentional, by the way. Did not accidentally do that. Anyway,
Have you had a different spear on ever since you did the infinite height thing?
I marvel at how
yes, and then I tried to change to no. I tried to change to the Phoenix Spear, but I accidentally selected Captain Soleil Spear, which is like almost as good, so it's fine.
Is that upgraded in this file?
Nope. Never mind.
I don't care if it's a trap. Yona's waiting for me and I'm going.
But yeah, I did try and change weapons. I guess I just mismenued and I did not notice until you just pointed it out. Anyway, we've collected all of our shards, and we are off to save the wizard, as they say. The wizard being our sister. Long story, very long story. This game is filled with those.
There's magic involved. Sounds about right.
Yeah, there's magic involved and stuff. The red bagman has been replaced. Which is, you know, that's the economy for you.
Yep.
We're gonna go.
Needed a job, I guess.
Indeed. So we're gonna go back and use the do the Lost Shrine again, but there's gonna be a little more enemies in there. So hopefully I don't fail the second skip because it could get a little bit annoying, but we should be fine.
We can do the same skips, and yeah, I think this time there's enemies like in place of the box puzzles, but since we didn't do the box puzzles the first time, I think they're still not done. I could be wrong about that.
I actually don't know. I want to say they're done. I do want to say that they're actually done, but I'm not entirely sure.
It's much faster just to skip them and much more fun. So we get to see these skips again.
There is also where is he? This guy. We're gonna kill that flying enemy because he can shoot us off of either of the next two ladders, and wow, that's annoying. So we don't want that.
Yeah, some people get annoyed casually that you have to do this dungeon 3 times over the course of the game, but in a speedrun, it's actually one of the most fun segments, and so yeah, we actually kind of look forward to it.
Indeed. Yeah, this is like it's one of my favorite parts of the run. It's probably my favorite part. This room is so fun to optimize.
Yeah, it really is.
It's come a long way. I don't even do the fastest route, I don't think, but like it's still really fast and it's fun.
Oh yeah, someone came up with like a floor clip method for doing something at some point. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this room that you can do.
This is also the most labbed room in the whole game because it's the most fun.
Can I hop in here for a second?
Go for it.
All right, we have a $5 donation from Scion that says $5 long foot.
That is amazing. Thank you, Scion. I don't know why I equipped that. I didn't need this Phoenix Spear now. So I'm gonna do another infinite height glitch in a second, which is the big one. Sorry, you can keep going. I don't have stuff to talk about for another minute.
Sounds good. We have a $2 donation from Math Hacker that says, if every donates $2, then yeah.
True.
Thank you. And then a $2 donation from Chuckles that says, $2 dono train, anyone? Yo. $2.
$111 left to the goal.
Wow. We also have my favorite optimization of the game coming up pretty soon. There's a room that loops infinitely. Like when you go to the end of it without doing the puzzle, it brings you back to the beginning. Thankfully, that works both ways. So we're going to walk into a big courtyard and then immediately turn around and open the door from where we came from, and it puts us at the end of the courtyard. It is awesome. It is just as awesome as it sounds. Yeah, so here we are, and I'm immediately just going to turn around and open this door because it loops. So this places us right where we need to go.
It's a pretty good one. And the next room is the big skip.
Yes. Bottom top.
Did you save before this, just in case?
Seems though
I have a backup save right next to here.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on ending A, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, again, long story to what's happening here, but I almost just selected let's go back to the village. That would have been awesome. Yeah, there's a dialogue option that just brings you back to the main hub of the game.
Yeah, and then you have to go all the way through the shrine again to get back up here.
I'm gonna shut up so I can do this, but
Definitely
to
not
be
a
honest,
good
keep talking.
Yeah, okay, so this is the palace skip. The most infamous skip. It's going to be like a solid minute and a half of infinite height glitch if things go as they should. Hopefully Fel doesn't fall back down to the ground, because then we have to just start this trick over again. But like we said earlier, it does save something like 10 minutes. I think Fel named this palace skip after the Paper Mario 1000-Year Door skip. There were a lot of other names that were suggested for this, because I think canonically the dungeon that we're currently in is just like an old abandoned office building, and so people were suggesting calling this things like the 9 to 5 skip, which I think is pretty good.
Yeah.
But we need to go really high to get over an invisible wall to get out of this boss room. There was actually an earlier version of this glitch that went from the previous room, the start of the previous room, like all the way up over the top of all the like the, I don't know what to call it.
Oh, I was one away. That's okay.
Oh no.
No worries.
So you went from the beginning of the previous room up pretty high, and then moved horizontally all the way over to this room, which might not sound bad because you actually didn't have to go as high as this version. However, moving horizontally using this infinite height glitch is incredibly slow, and so we're very happy that the version that escapes from this room instead, which has the same effect, is something that also works, because I think this one probably costs about a minute less than that other version and is much easier to do, because for the other version you kind of had to delay some of these pauses to get a little bit of horizontal movement, and then you'd always have to be worried about accidentally plunging to the ground, and this one is just easier to deal with. Yeah, I think you're roughly trying to get to the point where you can see most of the ceiling of this building in your field of view.
There's a cue with the character's hip that I use against the background.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure what the cue is.
Okay, I think I'm high enough, but I'm gonna do one more for
This
safety.
invisible wall goes significantly higher than than it looks like it should.
There we go, we're through. Okay. Anyway, yeah, we're through that. So that
There we
skips,
go.
I mean, the fight that, it probably it takes a little less time to do this than to actually play the fight, because that's a fight that's like heavily influenced by dialogue triggers. There is a
Right.
very, very long segment in this room that's probably like 5-6 minutes maybe. Maybe it's not that long, but it's about that long. And then there's also a boar boss fight in that room, and the boar also chases you through this room and into another room where there's another boar
And then
boss
there's
fight.
another boss fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this skips all of that.
Yeah, it's actually really surprising that this works, because there's a lot of other times where you can skip an event using infinite height glitch or something like that, and then go to the next event, but flags won't be set properly, and so you actually just can't progress with the story. But in this case, surprisingly, like, it's surprising that these doors are even active,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I
In most cases,
could not
yeah.
believe that this worked when I was finding this, because, like,
Yeah.
again, everything else in the game leads to dead ends. And I was walking through these doors, fully expecting to open this next one and just be met with an empty room and not be able to progress.
Right. But fortunately, the
this next
door
one.
at the end of this area leads to like another area entirely, and that one, I guess, doesn't need any flags set or something, so it just works normally, and we can just proceed to the end of the game normally.
Yeah, it's incredible. It is like really awesome that this works. Some lore and some text mashing. And then we get the boss fight. Yeah.
And some really good music.
Yes. Very good music.
Yeah. I actually think that between the original version of the game and this one, this is probably the song that I definitely noticed was like most changed from the original, and
We're the same. Tools in the hands
it's also one of my favorite songs in the soundtrack. It's very good.
It is very good. We don't get to hear too much of it. We do get to hear this version of it though, which is great.
Don't do this, Popola! You and Devila were like parents to me!
Those two have watched the world wither from time immemorial. The cruelness of such influence is different.
I don't want to do this!
Not using Dark Wall, huh?
Well, I didn't have time after the first barrage started, so I did have time after the second one. This is like heavy dialogue trigger. Yeah, okay, as you see, she just exploded after the dialogue. But you can get her down fairly, like, with magic attacks for whatever reason in this fight more lethally than other fights. You can just make it a little bit quicker. Anyway, cutscenes of things that never happened because we skipped them, which is cool. Yeah, there's a few cutscenes here. Because this is, the final dungeon, very story heavy.
Yep.
If there's anything else you'd like to say, Eric, this is a good time.
Yes, I have a lot to say. Well,
Okay.
I won't say much, but I'll skip the donations until we get to the intermission. But I do want to say we have crossed our $10,000 goal.
Yo!
Holy guacamole!
Holy
That is
moly
amazing.
guacamole.
Good job, everyone. I'm so proud of this community. We're awesome. We have raised over $10,000 for Out Youth. Let's go, gamers.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. Those are some of the tankiest enemies, like normal enemies in the game that I just killed. But we're level 99, so that's fine. Also, this book has a lot of like really annoying like phase where he rolls around in an invincible ball, but we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, this is one of the like few bosses really that don't have any kind of dialogue limiting your progression. So
Also, one of the only
Yes.
like phase changes in a boss that doesn't get rid of your buff.
oh yeah,
Well, unlucky patterns right now, but it's okay. I just gotta stagger this guy.
yeah, because Phil's been using consumables for most of this game. I don't think we mentioned it, that either like double your physical damage or double your magic scaling, I think.
Yes.
Something that something that helps a lot and definitely requires you to know which one to use for which enemy, because you can't actually have both effects active at the same time, right?
Correct. Only one of them. Nice, okay.
And those buffs only last like 30 or 60 seconds, but that's plenty, especially for an ending B.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually going to use a strength capsule, and I'm actually just going to run away so he doesn't go to Narnia. Come on. Okay, let's go. He didn't go to Narnia. Yeah, he can fly all the way to the other side of the room, and that's a lot slower. Have to chase him there. But even though he's in the air, we can actually just jump up and like chain these aerial combos on him, which makes the physical buff more worth it. Although, this phase can get pretty annoying.
Deadly meal heads he's shooting at you.
Yeah. I'm gonna eat a health cell.
What's wrong?
Come on. There we go.
Freaking me out here, Vice.
There we go. Okay, now the fight is pretty much over. You just have to do
And then
a
there's
few more hits.
one final phase, right?
Yeah. The song is so good too.
It really is.
Anyway, the barrage of Emil heads coming at us. The cool part about this is the more hits you get in this section, the more the music box version of this song comes in. And it sounds really cool. Until it's all music box for this attack.
Yeah, it's so good.
And time is coming up after this cutscene. I will say the word when. But yeah, there's just a little more text mashing. I think time is now. I think this is time. Yeah, so time. That's the run. We're gonna. Yeah.
Here.
If we need
Very well done.
If we do need to stall at all, we can listen to the credits music.
Don't worry about it.
It's very nice.
We're vibing. Everyone is going crazy in the chat.
Yeah.
We have live on stream now. We have Kai art in progress.
This is so exciting. I love Kai.
So yeah, we can vibe for a little bit if you want.
I mean, the credits music is some of the best in this game. I don't actually know what version plays in what's it called? In this ending.
Is it the French version?
It might be the French version.
I'm not sure about that one.
Might be the Japanese version, actually. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me letting me show off my all-time favorite game. It's been fun. Hopefully y'all enjoyed. The game's not, as crazy as NieR Automata, but I think it's got a pretty interesting run with a lot of unique segments in it. So hopefully it was fun to watch. Thanks, Sprialis, for helping me with the commentation too.
Yep, no problem.
I forgot how long this cutscene was. What was the final time, out of curiosity?
Thanks, young.
On stream, I see 1 hour 27:07.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
So somewhere around there, probably. Of course, there's always like a few seconds here or there,
Right, for sure.
But yeah, that's a really cool run. My favorite part is Bartholomew for sure.
Yeah, we do like Bartholomew.
You had that one area where you went through the little narrow canyon like perfectly. That was pretty impressive.
That was awesome. It's not easy to do. It's actually pretty hard to do. Yeah.
I'm gonna do some drifting to prevent bonking on the walls, but that does lose some time, so yeah. Squeezing through there without it is good.
Yes. Thank you for letting me play with the costumes on. The costumes in this game are so fun. And the meal heads are great.
Yeah.
Is this just an instrumental? That's actually interesting.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, didn't know that. But anyway. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're totally fine. I have a lot of catching up to do with donations. So I'm just going to do those really quick. Again, super hyped about $10,000. Let me read these. So we have a $5 anonymous donation that says Akko. We have a $15 donation from Brad that says me. We have a $2 donation from Kate Latte that says tutu like a train. Anonymous $10 donation. A $7.27 donation from Math Hacker that says funny dono train. A $22 donation from Kate Latte that says tutu like two trains. A $10 donation from Chuckles that says Team Archie. And a $50 donation from Noah121 that says long live Archie. Wow.
The vocals came in, and I think this is the French version. It took a long time though.
The French version might be my favorite.
It's very pretty. I'm partial to the Chaos version, but or is it called Chaos? Right, Angelic is the old
Chaos
one.
language.
Yeah, I just get those confused. Yeah, so all the songs, by the way, in this game have been sung in a language that did not exist before these games did.
Yeah, aside from a couple versions of this song right here, which are in real languages.
like French. Well, I guess French.
say.
I mean,
Is French the language that was invented after this game came out?
yeah, I think there's Japanese, English, French, and Chaos versions of this song, and there's something similar with the ending song in NieR Automata as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is one of my all-time favorite songs. It's so pretty. All the versions of it are great. Thank you for indulging me.
Of course. I never deny a friend a song.
But this game is pretty rock solid. So it's more of a throne than the other ones. It's pretty fun.
Great. All right. Well, thank you again to Fel and Spirialis for that amazing run. That was awesome. Also, if you haven't seen, this art is so cool already. There's little baby birds. Oh my goodness.